Y is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
I'm upset I'm only finding about this now because these are either perfect guests for the show. I found it in an article of things to get mom.
Okay.
So, and I would like to get these from my mom simply to just see her face when these pop up.
Mhm.
One is actually one called a burrito pop,
A
which this works
burrito
for every.
pop?
Yes,
Oh.
it is a container. You
Mhm.
put your burrito in, and then you can twist it. And you always have the problem when you get to the bottom that the burrito falls apart.
Right.
No more. It's in a thing that you can use
Oh.
as a pop. The other one is a banana device that lets you.
Nope. I didn't want to hear about it.
Okay. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. 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 How did Make Love Not Porn? What was the initial idea behind this? How did this come to be?
So, Make Love Not Porn started in 2009 when our CEO and founder, Cindy Gallup, gave what ended up being a viral TED Talk. She is in her 60s and sleeps with men mostly in like their 20s and has been doing so for a long time. And was like, why am I having the same sex with like all of these men? Which was very like porn informed and just very, staccato, if you will.
Yes.
So she gave this viral TED talk where I'm pretty sure that she's the only person to say, "Come on my face" on the TED stage, which she did 6 times. Just
Jane
talking
Goodall?
about.
Are we anyway?
I'll have to check that after
Five times was hers. Yeah.
But she gave this talk about how porn was becoming the de facto sex education, especially with more and more access to the internet. This was also in 2009. So I think that she was really ahead of her time with that kind of observation about sex education and porn and kind of the intersection between those. And she just had an outpouring of responses from people all over the world who really related to her message in Make Love Not Porn, of this talk that she gave. And so she started makelovenotporn.tv, which is a website that's a social sex video sharing platform that's entirely user generated and human curated. So what that means is that we have people from all around the world submitting the real world sex videos that they have in their everyday lives. So if porn is like the Hollywood blockbuster, then we're the documentary. And every single video is watched from beginning to end by our team of curators. I'm the head of curation. And people share literally from all around the world, ranging in ages from like 20s to 70s, which is really amazing. Just showing what their real world sex looks like, when there isn't really a camera there, to normalize and affirm and just show more examples of what sex can look like.
So how often when you're viewing a video, do you find yourself like cranking your neck, or do you go home like from looking at different angles and going like, God, I need a massage and I need to try that?
That is a great question. So I think that we've trained a lot of people to film horizontally. That's like a big thing.
Yes.
So I actually don't crane my neck that much. That's a really funny question. But there are times where like the camera's moving and I find my body kind of watching, but not as often as you would think. They're all pretty good at filming horizontally, and we really encourage people to just like set it and forget it. So like put not a podcast, a tripod up, or just like put your camera against something and then just leave it and don't edit. Like we want all of those weird moments that people would kind of edit out and feel self-conscious about. Like I want the deep throat coughing. I want the cat jumping on the bed. I want the bottle of lube flying across the room. I want the camera dying. Like all of those moments that we all experience in our sexuality and don't really see that frequently. Like that's what we love at Make Love Not Porn.
It's so interesting, and it seems like the response is pretty great from folks. Like you said, that it kind of instantly was around the world.
Yeah.
And this is, and I think you mentioned as well, this is not just heteronormative sex. This is every gender, every definition of a person. It just everything is on here, and no matter what your proclivities are, that is there and is well represented there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we could always be more diverse. I think that everyone could, but we are really grateful to have quite an array of different kinds of real world sex on Make Love Not Porn from all kinds of people. So it's really, wonderful because I don't think that I and Make Love Not Porn doesn't think that sex is a particular thing, right? Like real world sex shouldn't be hierarchical. And if you're saying this is real world sex to me, great, let's see it. So it's not necessarily like one sexual act or one kind of sexual formation. We have thruples on the site, we have group sex, we have all different kinds of people and genders and ages and sexualities, like you were saying, which is really wonderful. And I think that the more diverse we get, the more diverse we can get, because I think that there's just so many ways to have sex that's one of the exciting parts about my job. Is I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I've been here for like 10 years and I'm still learning things all the time.
Do you see still like certain trends, for lack of a better term, like where suddenly all of a sudden you're getting a whole bunch coming in where, I don't know whether it is a threesome or whatever it is?
That's a great question. I think that, well, with the pandemic, we got a lot of masturbation videos, which makes sense. And I think that people were passing the time with sex toys, which really makes sense. But I think that in terms of trends, last year we published more threesome videos than we ever had, which was really cool. And I think that a lot of our Make Love Not Porn stars, as we call them on the site, they learn from each other to do things. So I don't think it's like this media, external kind of media force, but there was one couple that submitted a few videos of fisting, and then all of a sudden we had all these fisting videos because a bunch of other Make Love Not Porn stars had rented it and been I want to try that. So that was really cool to see. So there's some stuff like that happens that's kind of like a wave of activity on the site, but it's pretty within our community. We have a really tight-knit community, which is really amazing too.
It's awesome. It's like Waze. It's like Waze porn. Where everyone's sending in oh, this is happening now, and then everyone's oh, okay, we're gonna try that, or we're gonna avoid that.
Yeah, so in Make Love Not Porn, we are pro sex, pro porn, pro knowing the difference. So we say that we're pioneering an entirely new category of social sex, because porn is really great, but it is performative, usually choreographed, scripted, and it also is filmed really with the viewer in mind. When at Make Love Not Porn, we really want to center the pleasure of the people having the real world sex. So we consider ourselves adult content, but we actually don't consider what we're doing porn. It's this kind of entirely different category.
No, it's like if you watched Jim Jarmusch made a sex video, essentially.
Yeah.
The indie film version.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You say on the website, that you're cliche free, but what if I just happened to be getting a pizza delivered? Has stranger things happened?
I don't think we have a pizza delivery on this site, but what we mean by, cliche free is just we ask that everything is contextualized. So, the come on my face example, right? Facials are a very common trope in porn, and we're not saying that we want to censor anything. So it's not about censorship when we use the word curation. We really want the context. So if we have a couple that comes in and they're we just think facials are the hottest thing in the world, I really love the feeling of, XYZ, then that's completely okay. And we are happy to publish that. It's just more about having the context behind that. So maybe, they woke up really horny and maybe they put the kids to bed. We have a lot of parents on Make Love Not Porn, but we just really want to see the broader kind of context for the real world sex that's happening. Because in porn, sex is happening in this weird vacuum where you get the pizza delivery and then all of a sudden there's very close up penetration. And that isn't really how sex happens in real life.
Pizza
so,
gets
or
delivered
pizza,
in
right.
real life. Yeah.
Right. Very true.
So we're just really about adding context to everything that people see and experience.
I know on the website, I'm assuming it was you that wrote this, said that one of the worst part of my job are the rare instances where I have to turn down a video because it doesn't quite fit what we're doing. What does that mean exactly? Because I feel like you're asking people to take kind of a leap of faith in filming themselves and posting that. But then that, like, did we do this wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple of like rules on Make Love Not Porn to submit a video. So one is that we have 2 forms of government ID per participant, right? So if someone can only submit one ID, then unfortunately they can't go further in the publication process. We also, require that there's no copyright audio, which is a really big obstacle for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people have great, very sexy playlists, but we can't publish anything with copyright audio for legal reasons. So that's definitely a big, probably the most frequent reason that we reject videos. And then we also require that videos be 3 minutes in length at minimum. So sometimes we'll just get like a 10-second, very close-up shot happening, and we don't publish that. Or it's like really dark and you can't really see anything. But it's pretty unusual that we don't publish for like the content itself. It's usually something around those situations.
Technicality.
Exactly. And we also ask that things are exclusive to Make Love Not Porn. So sometimes people will submit a video that's like clearly on another site and clearly kind of a different context, and we'll deny that. And frequently when something is denied for it being too short or like too close up, we have a how-to guide. I'll explain why it was denied, and we really encourage people to submit again. So a no isn't a never, it's just maybe not this exact video. I think that also people who might be doing this for the first time, which is like the majority of people on Make Love Not Porn, are people who don't, really do this in other circumstances. Maybe their impulse is to film like a really close up penetration shot, to be like, sex is happening, look. And we'll be like,
it's
okay,
real.
Amazing. It looks like so much fun, but maybe pull the camera back. Right. So we really offer like tips we want you to be on the site. So we try to like get you there as much as we can.
Do you want editing, or do you want like a Brian De Palma, like just one take for 15 minutes and it's going downstairs and the whole thing?
I love a one take. It really depends. I think that some people, we have some like really beautiful filmmaking kind of vibes on Make Love Not Porn, and that's really amazing too. It's just up to people's preference, their technical skills. Like it's kind of how they want to represent the real world sex. So for some people, that means like a very beautiful, like setting the scene of like, you see the French roast and then you see, it's in black and white and it's really beautiful. So I'm here for that too. But I think that for like lack of a barrier to entry, it can just kind of be easy to set it, leave it, and then watch it back. We also are totally fine with people being anonymous on Make Love Not Porn, which is pretty different. And so a lot of people will use like blurring technology to edit their faces out, or, wear masks or wigs or costumes. So that isn't necessarily editing in that context, but sometimes people will edit, where their faces are shown in the videos that they're submitting as well.
You mentioned that you have some, what you referred to as Make Love Not Porn stars. Are there any performers that when you get that new video, you're like, oh, I can't wait to watch this? Who are your favorites?
That's a great question. So we also don't refer to our Make Love Not Porn stars as like performers, because ideally what they're doing is they're not performing for a camera, right? They're just doing what they kind of do in their everyday. This sounds so cheesy, but I really do like love everyone that submits to Make Love Not Porn. I just feel it is such a leap of faith, and it's doing something so vulnerable that I just am floored by all these people that do it. And I think that, the majority of our Make Love Not Porn stars are like, people you see at the grocery store, which is really amazing. It's very much everyday people. I think I get really excited when, someone hasn't submitted in a really long time and I'm like, oh my God, how are they doing? That's really exciting to me to kind of touch base with people. Like we have someone who submitted last week that I haven't seen since like 2016. So that was very exciting.
Has their repertoire changed?
She is submitting with a new partner. Yeah. So sometimes that'll happen, or like people will break up and take their videos down, which you can do on Make Love Not Porn, and then they'll submit with a new partner years later. Like that's very exciting. So it's very easy to get me excited about what's in our curation queue. There's a lot to be excited about.
It'd be tragic. It'd be so tragic if you're like, oh, more, here they go again.
Yeah,
She's back.
Or seeing things that are like, I don't know, like Make Love Not Porn is international. So it's really, I'm like, wow, that was an amazing, like there's like a beautiful video and like a waterfall in Thailand. Like they, it's really amazing to like go digitally exploring through all these amazing places that people are having really hot sex in.
That's awesome. Do you find that there are, I know we kind of talked about like the sort of the what's in from within the community, but even traveling to other places, I'd you say, if you like, even if you didn't know where it came from, you'd go, yep, that's from Germany.
I don't think my geography is that good. And I think that, we don't have enough of people internationally where I feel like I have like a great sense of their like sexual national identity, but I would love to get there eventually.
Right? Fascinating.
It is fascinating.
One of the other things that's super interesting about the site is like you hear with regular porn them saying, the internet killed it all, that it came down to scenes, not films, and it just and the way to monetize it is very, very difficult. And the website seems to have put together a really nice way to monetize it for the people in the videos to get paid, to sort of get shown from, oh, people are liking this, people are responding to this. It seems like a really simple idea, but one that doesn't seem to have completely caught on.
Yeah, absolutely. So Make Love Not Porn operates entirely in a revenue sharing business model. So anytime a video is rented, half of that goes back to the Make Love Not Porn star, which we've been that way from the beginning of a 50-50 revenue split. And you're exactly right. Like, I think that in porn, you get paid upfront, and then that video can be, viewed hundreds of thousands of times, and there's no royalty. You just get that upfront payment. And so on Make Love Not Porn, we really wanted to, be a side hustle, or, ideally a job for people. So we operate in that 50-50 revenue split. And that is another kind of example of how we don't operate with sex being like hierarchical in any way. Like every video is valued the same amount. It's $5 per rental for 3 weeks of unlimited viewing, and then you can rent again. Or we also have a couple of different subscription models or like bundles of credits, but every video is valued the same. And then we operate like the 50-50 payout split, which I mentioned, and we do payouts every month. So, one video can go on to make, it can be rented hundreds, thousands of times. So I think that it is a really different business model, which is kind of surprising to me as well, just because it does seem kind of simple. But we really want to show that we value our Make Love Not Porn stars so much. And so we're really grateful to be able to contribute financially what we are able to. And we had a lot of Make Love Not Porn stars who, were laid off in the pandemic, and we're like, thank God I had this, revenue coming in. And yeah, I just feel really grateful that we are able to pay our Make Love Not Porn stars like consistently. And I hope that we get bigger and are able to give them, a fuck ton more money. They deserve it.
So I know this is my personal, when shows like Girls came out and they were like, we're going to make all the sex seem real. And it wasn't sexy, but yet this concept for some reason does sound sexy. So what do you think it is about that, like the true reality of it, taking away all the smoke and mirrors? Like, I feel like you either got to go full smoke and mirrors or full real. Like that in between is just awful, in my opinion. But what do you think it is about people wanting to just break it down and just see the raw, just naturalness of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that people are really curious about other people, right? Like that's why we read books, that's why we watch television. I think that we seek out these like narratives of kind of other people, and we're very curious and we like people. So I think that having this like erotic window into all these people's sex lives, I think is very, I think that it's a lot of things. I think that it can obviously be like tantalizing and erotic, but I also think that it can be very educational. I think it can be very affirming. I think it can be very eye-opening. Like, I think that people, when they're seeing, you know, for the first time, maybe people like hysterically laughing during sex, right? Like, we don't really get to see that in media depictions. Or when we see people, you know, just have those like silly, goofy moments, or have really moving moments where people are talking about like how much they love each other. Or I think it's also an opportunity to unlearn a lot of the kind of harmful tropes that a lot of us have absorbed about sex. Like, sex education in this country is really fucking awful. And so I think that, you know, we're not seeing joyous depictions of like women, you know, people going down on women, or women asking for things, or different kinds of orgasms, or what actual squirting looks like, or, you know, all of these things that we've all heard about. Maybe all of us have heard about, but we haven't really seen actual depictions of it. So I think that people are really intrigued when they come to our site of just being like, oh, this is what sex is. This is what sex could be. Like, thank you so much for showing this. Now I know. We have comments on our videos, which are also human curated. We go through every comment and tailor it to make Love Not Porn Stars preferences. But overwhelmingly, the most frequent comment is thank you. I think just for showing that.
Yeah, it's very cool.
What is the submission rate like? How many videos are you looking at in a day to approve?
That's a great question. We publish at least a video a day. Last week, I think we published like 25. So it's about 5-ish a day that we're looking at. And we have a team of 3 curators. So we're very busy.
Yeah.
Is there a particular time of day or time of year where your submissions just go up? Is it around holidays, higher or lower? And which holiday?
Holidays are a little hornier, I think, like around Christmas. And then Valentine's Day, we got a bunch of submissions. I think,
but like
that
Arbor Day, you're not really like skyrocketing.
No, so far, no, but maybe you should pioneer that.
Right.
We'll get the word out. Yeah.
May is also Masturbation May. And so we get a lot of like me time, which is what we call our masturbation videos, around May. So there's definitely sexier times of years.
So are the 20-year-olds any better? Have you heard from the founder?
I mean, she's been doing it consistently for a reason. So
yeah,
I think that points to yes.
I figured it out. It's not the same anymore.
Are any members of the Make Love Not Porn team contributors as well as editors behind the scenes, or do you try not to kind of have? I'm trying to think of a better phrase than church and state, and I can't, so I apologize.
Mixed business with pleasure.
Thank you. That's much better.
Church and state is also where my head went. So no, we, at this point in time, we're a really small team. We're 5 people. And so we decided to kind of keep that separation of church and state at this point, just because, you know, we're doing all the social media, we're doing all the email marketing. We just didn't want to get, you know, like give people too much space or not enough space, or we just, you know, wanted to keep that separate at this time.
I feel like it would be too close for comfort. Like, you'd come in the next day and be like, oh, hey.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
If it's just someone you see in like the wine aisle at the grocery store, it's a little less awkward than the person you sit next to at the office every day.
Well, it's so funny. Like, we were part of this documentary a couple of years ago, and 2 Make Love Not Porn Star couples came out to be like in this documentary, and I met them for the first time in person. And, you know, we've been emailing for years. I've been watching their videos for years. When I met them, I was like really struck by the fact that one of them was a runner. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you were a runner. And then I was like, why would I know that? I see this like really particular slice of your life, but I feel like I know you really well. And that was a kind of funny moment for me of being like, oh, I do know these people in this context, but I actually don't know what like anyone does. I don't know what their hobbies are, but I can tell you like when they moved apartments, when they moved their bed over, you know.
That's
So it's a
hilarious.
really particular window that you're seeing into these people's lives.
Well, yeah, you know things their friends and families don't know.
But I don't know anything that their friends and family do.
Right, which is
so it's like a funny
hilarious.
inverse.
Yes. Unless they start
Yeah.
chasing each other around the bedroom, they're like, oh, you are a runner. Good job.
Exactly. But it is sweet. We do know some things. Like there's one couple that started submitting to us, Drew and Cece. They're a really great couple, and they started submitting to us when Cece was actually pregnant. And so when Cece had the baby, we were all very excited. We found out, and it was a very joyous moment. So there definitely is a lot of community around Make Love Not Porn. It's just funny that you don't know these kind of like, you know, what would be on a dating profile. Like, I'm a runner. I love reading.
Right. Which really, Make Love Not Porn is what should be on the dating profile.
Yeah,
We're just going to get right to it. It's like, watch this if you want to know what I'm about. The rest we can figure out later.
Exactly.
You can check us out on all the various socials. Be sure to visit our website and don't forget to leave us a review.
Today's show is produced by myself and Heidi Hegquist. Our reluctant producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our willing producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our intern is Zach Jackson. This one's for Philippe. Thanks for joining us. Flash, we're coming home.
Nigel, is that you? Are you here, Nigel?